What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Today I'm super excited because we're doing one of my favorite types of videos to film, which is a full face of dupes. So if you guys have not watched any of my previous dupe videos, basically I'm going to do half of my face with high-end makeup and I'm going to do the other half of my face with a drugstore dupe, like much cheaper alternative. And the goal of this is to basically make our face look like we used all of the same makeup products on both sides, not two different sets of makeup. So I'm super excited. I love doing these. In the past when I've done these, I've done like full out glam looks. For today's, I'm going to focus on more of like an easy everyday look so that even if you don't wear super full glam makeup, you still have like your basic everyday essentials that you can find great dupe alternative products for. So without further ado, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel if you have not already and click the little bell right next to the subscribe button so you can be notified of all my future uploads, and let's go ahead and get started. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump in. I'm going to do this side of my face with the drugstore products and this side of my face with the high-end products. I always get scared I'm going to mix them. We're not gonna do that today. So we're gonna get started with primer and we're gonna go in with the very popular Milk Hydra Grip Primer. So I'm gonna put this on the high-end side. This retails for $36. It is a nice primer. I do feel like it helps to grip the foundation to the skin, help to make it last all day, but unfortunately it makes me break out. So you guys know I really love you by putting this on my face because I know it's really popular. For me, it just doesn't agree with my skin. So aside from it just being at a higher price point, it's not a primer that I normally use, although it is a good primer. But our friends over at e.l.f. came out with the Power Grip Primer, which is $10. Does not make me break out and does pretty much the exact same thing. This I really, really like. They look very similar. They're very similar in feel as well. They have more of like a tacky kind of sticky consistency to them. So it might not feel like super nourishing when you're applying it to the skin, but it's gonna help to adhere your foundation or whatever complexion products you're using to your skin and make sure that they last all day long, which is what we want. Like if you see I put my fingers, it like sticks, you know? But then your foundation is also gonna stick to it. So now that we have locked down primer, we're gonna go into our complexion products. So on the high-end side, I'm gonna be using the Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint. This is a very popular product. It retails for $48. It has hyaluronic acid, squalene, and other skincare benefits in it. I feel like 2022 and 2021 were really the year of the skin tint. Every brand came out with one. So we're gonna go with this on the high-end side, but don't worry, I have such a good affordable dupe for this. And I'm gonna be using a beauty blender to apply this. I'm just gonna put it onto the beauty blender, just like a little squeezy dropper thing. And I'm going to blend this out. Oh wait, I was like, wait, is this the wrong side? No, it's not. This is the high-end side. Okay, and I'm gonna blend this out on the high-end side. Now, one thing about this product is that I love the way that it looks on the skin. It's beautiful. You cannot take that away from it, but it does have a very like strong and not good smell. There are some products that are heavily scented, but they're scented like rose or something like that. This one is just like a wonky, weird smell and definitely not my favorite. So that is the one downside to it, but it gives a beautiful look to the skin. It's very hydrating. Gives a light coverage, covers up redness and stuff like that. It's gonna kind of even out the skin tone and is really, really pretty. I'm gonna go in with just a little bit more just to build up a little extra coverage. But overall, a very pretty product, but of course you are gonna pay for that in the price. So that is what it looks like all blended out. Now on the drugstore side, we're gonna be going in with one of my absolute new favorite products. This is the L'Oreal True Match Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. So this is also a tinted serum foundation type product. It has hyaluronic acid in it as well, and this typically retails for around $15. $15 to $16. Drugstore pricing does range a lot more than high-end pricing does, but same sort of concept, has like the little applicator. So I'm gonna put this on the drugstore side. I'm gonna use this Koki makeup sponge, which is a cheaper and honestly better alternative to the beauty blender. I think this one is softer. So I'm just gonna go in and pounce this on the skin. On the drugstore side, this one has a little bit of a thicker consistency. The Ilia is a little more watery, where the L'Oreal is a little bit thicker, but they both feel weightless on the skin. Like just because the L'Oreal one's thicker doesn't mean that it feels thick and cakey on the skin. It really does blend and morph into the skin, as I'm sure you guys can see as I apply it. The L'Oreal one also does have slightly more coverage, which I personally do like. Like with the Ilia, I had to go in with 2 different layers to really cover, where with the L'Oreal, I really only need 1 to get that same coverage. And once blended out on the skin, I feel like they look nearly identical. They both feel hydrating. They have like a natural finish to the skin, so they look like natural skin and really just perfect your skin. Both beautiful options, but obviously the L'Oreal is at a much cheaper price point, so definitely don't sleep on this. It's really, really good. Okay, for our concealer on the high-end side, we're gonna go in with the new Saie Hydra Beam. This retails for $26 and it's a very brightening and glowy concealer. So I'm gonna go in with this. I have it in shade 2. Saie has actually been like one of my new favorite brands. So many of their products I love and just works so well, and I feel like I have not been able to find dupes for, but as soon as I tried this concealer, I was like, this reminds me of another concealer. So this one I feel like I was able to find a pretty good dupe for. So I'm just gonna put that underneath my eyes. Gonna go in with the Beauty Blender again to blend it out. This isn't gonna give a super full coverage. I would call it light to medium, depending on how much you use, but it does brighten up the under eyes and definitely makes you look a bit more awake, which is nice and feels very light and hydrating. Now for the drugstore side, a concealer that is very similar is the Neutrogena Radiant Cream Concealer. So you can get this for like $7 on Amazon, sometimes even less, and it's a very similar concealer in feel, consistency, kind of everything. It's a lighter coverage, gives kind of like a glowy, hydrated looking under eye. I'm gonna go in with the Kokie sponge and blend it out. The Neutrogena one actually, in my opinion, has a bit more coverage than the Saie one does. I would consider this like a good medium coverage, where the Saie is really light to medium, but definitely brightens and gives a hydrated feel to the under eyes. So as you can see on the face, don't really look that much different. All right, up next for cream bronzer on the high end side, we're gonna be going in with the Fenty Cream Bronzer. This retails for $36. I like these because they blend and really morph into the skin easily, so they don't take like a lot of time with blending. I feel like cream products in general have come such a long way. I used to never really use them because they took forever to blend in, and now they're just like so much better, thankfully. So I do really love this one and using it to sculpt out the face. But on the drugstore side, we have a great alternative, which is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. Also really love this, and this retails for $6 to $7. And same thing, just really morphs and blends into the skin very easily, and you can use it to really sculpt out the face, and you can also use it to bronze up the skin if you want to, but looks beautiful and seamless at a much cheaper price. Up next on the high end side for cream blush, we're gonna go in with the Natasha Denona Puff Paint Liquid Serum Blushes. These are beautiful. This corally one is my favorite shade, but I'm realizing it does not say a shade name on the bottom. It must have like come off. So I will put the shade name in the description box, but it is really pretty. So I'm just gonna kind of dot this on the cheeks and blend this in. These are really pretty because they're also like hydrating, because they have that like serum aspect. So they definitely give like a little bit of a glow as well to the skin with color. They're not like super crazy pigmented, just a nice natural blush for a little pretty flush of the cheeks. But they do retail for $22, and the Milani Supercharged Cheek and Lip Multi-Stick, especially this one in the shade Peach Thrill, is nearly identical. The applicator is a little bit different. This is obviously like a chubby stick, so you just kind of apply to the cheeks and then blend it out. But this also has that same more dewy finish to it. It's not like a matte finish at all. So it gives you that pretty wash of color, but also a little bit of a glow, and feels hydrating on the skin. And this normally retails for about $8.99. So as you can see, once it is blended out, they look pretty much the same on the face. To set everything in place on the high end side, we're gonna go in with the Laura Mercier. This is the Candlelight Glow Sheer Perfecting Powder. This retails for $39. It's very pretty. It gives like a sheer kind of glowy look to the skin while setting your makeup down in place. So I'm just gonna tap this on. It's nice if you still wanna keep that glowy look to your skin, but have it be set with a powder. But a very similar product is the e.l.f. Halo Glow. So this is a loose powder, where the Laura Mercier is a pressed powder, but on the skin, it gives the same sort of finish, that light kind of glow, while also setting the product in place. And the e.l.f. product retails for $8. So is at a much more affordable price point, but gives the same look to the skin. Okay, for brows on the high-end side, we're gonna go in with the Kosas Air Brows. This is basically like a tinted brow gel that also has little fibers in it that help to like fill in your brows. This retails for $22, and it is really nice, especially just on a daily basis where you want a little something in your brows, fill them in, define them, and quick and go. This is a great product because it takes like 2 seconds, run it through, and gives your brows a bit more definition. And a super similar new product from the drugstore is the NYX Thick It Stick It. I love this. Same sort of thing. It's a tinted brow gel that has little fibers in it that helps to build up your brows and the thickness of them a bit. And this normally retails for about $10.99. So it's about half the price of the Kosas one, but overall pretty much looks exactly the same. And they both do come in a variety of different colors as well. So obviously I'm using the colors that suit my brows, but both have a multitude of options and can really quickly fill in and emphasize the brows. Okay, now for eyes. Honestly, on a daily basis, I don't wear a ton of eyeshadow eyeshadow anymore. If I'm doing like a full out glam look, I definitely do eyeshadow on a daily basis. If I'm gonna do eyeshadow, I just kind of do something quick and easy with colors that I know work for me. So definitely one of my go-tos is the Anastasia Soft Glam palette. This is really pretty because this can be used on a daily basis for easy looks, or definitely can transition into like nighttime smoky going out looks. It has a mix of both mattes and shimmers, pretty neutrals. They work well, super blendable. This does retail for $45, but I've come to realize that you can make a very similar look with the ColourPop Set in Stone palette, which is one of my absolute new favorites. This does have 4 less shades than the Anastasia palettes do, although the size of the shadows are a lot bigger in the ColourPop palette, as you can see. And the ColourPop palette is $16, so it's a lot less than the Anastasia palette is. And I actually do have an affiliate code with ColourPop, which is code Kelly, so that'll get you an additional 10% off, which would make it less than $16. And I can pretty much make the same look with this palette that I use the Anastasia palette for, but we're gonna do it together today so I can show you. So in the Anastasia palette, I'm gonna first go in with the shade Burnt Orange. I like to use this as a neutral transition in my crease to kind of sculpt out the eye and define it. And then the ColourPop palette, I'm gonna go in with the shade Gravel. Similar kind of orangey, warm toned brown, also a matte shade. Both palettes blend beautifully, seamlessly, like super easy to use. Then in the Anastasia palette, I'm gonna go in with the shade Rustic. This is more of a cool tone shade, and I'm gonna bring this into the crease. A lot of times when I do more neutral looks, I like to mix together both warm and cool tones to kind of have like a neutral ground. So I like when palettes have both options. And then the ColourPop palette, going with the shade So Chiseled. And doing the same thing, just applying it into the crease. All over the lid on the high-end side, I'm gonna go in with the shade Fairy. I'm just gonna use my finger to press this on the lid. It's a really pretty kind of yellowy gold shade and looks beautiful all over the lid. I'm gonna wipe my finger off to make sure we don't have any contamination of the product on this side. I'm gonna go in with the shade Stonework and pop this all over the lid. Honestly, the ColourPop one is prettier. Like, this one glows a lot more than the Anastasia one does. It has a much prettier sheen in my opinion and is more pigmented. Just gonna go in with a brush and feather it in, but like, yeah, honestly, when it comes to this shadow, the ColourPop one definitely wins. Like, it gives the same overall look to the eyes, but the ColourPop one pops a lot more. Then I'm gonna go in with this light shade Tempera. And I'm gonna pop this in the inner corner and beneath the brow bone, and going in with Looking Sharp from the ColourPop palette, and also gonna apply inner corner and brow bone. Then I'm gonna go in with this deep brown in the shade Cypress Umber, and I'm gonna apply this to halfway on the upper lash line and kind of make a little wing with it, and then bring it about halfway on the lower lash line as well to just connect everything out. And then in the ColourPop palette, I'm gonna go in with shade Steady and do the same thing on the other eye. Okay, honestly, I feel like the drugstore eye looks better than the high-end eye, but these are the eyes. They definitely look similar. It's just that all over the lid color really pops on the drugstore side, and I personally like the way that side looks better, but let me know what you guys think down below. Okay, for mascara on the high-end side, we're gonna be going in with a newer one from YSL. This is the Lash Clash Mascara. Now let me tell you, this retails for $29, but it really does give a lot of volume to the lashes. I will 100% give you that. Like, you really only need to run this through your lashes once or twice to pack on a ton of volume. It looks really nice and will definitely like emphasize your lashes and make them stand out. That is with 2 coats, but it instantly reminded me of the L'Oreal Air Volume. This one retails for about $10 and pretty much does the same thing, and very quickly it packs on a lot of volume, especially on a daily basis. Like, if I don't really have time to be sitting there like going through and coating my lashes 100 times, I do like a mascara that's gonna pack on volume quickly. You do have to be careful with mascaras that are gonna pack on a ton of volume fast because they can get clumpy, but I feel like overall these look pretty similar after 2 coats. I will say the L'Oreal one, this can clump up if you use too much of it. Like, I feel like it can clump up easier than the YSL one does. So you do have to be careful with that, but it definitely does give a lot of volume and a very similar look to the eyes. Okay, for our waterline on the high-end side, we're gonna go in with this NARS High Pigment Long Wear Eyeliner. And I'm just using the black shade. I'm gonna put it in my waterline. This is super pigmented, but it does retail for $24, so it's pricey. On the drugstore side, we have the Rimmel Scandalize. I've loved these for such a long time. They're like $2. Super, super cheap and work pretty much the exact same. Also super pigmented, lasts a really long time, and works great in the waterline. Okay, I realized we forgot highlight. So one of my favorite highlights on the high-end side is by Makeup by Mario, and this is in the shade Honey. It's a really pretty gold, but it has a little bit of like pinky undertones to it. It's beautiful. And so I'm gonna put this as my highlight on the high-end side, on the cheeks. I'm not gonna put any like down my nose because obviously we're doing the half and half, but that's the Makeup by Mario highlight, and it retails for $28. Now on the more affordable side, we have the ColourPop Super Shock highlight in the shade Flute Punch. This looks nearly identical, and this is only $8, and is also like the prettiest gold with a little bit of pink undertones to it, and you will see looks nearly identical to the Mario highlight, like pretty much the same color. The Super Shocks from ColourPop, you can use a brush to apply these. I like to apply them with my finger because they're kind of like a cream to powder almost formula, where the Makeup by Mario ones are just strictly a powder, but the shade on them is pretty much identical. Both beautiful. Okay, last but not least for our lips, we have such a viral product where you can like never even find this. So I'm glad that I found a dupe for it, because even if you wanted to spend the money on it, you can't even find them. But this is the Lip Glow Oil from Dior. So it's the Dior lip oil. These went like viral on TikTok. They retail for $35. They are really, really nice. I was able to snag it in the shade Raspberry. I'm gonna apply it to my lips and show you guys. It has like a really big doe foot. They do feel nice and hydrating to the lips, but A, they're intoxicating, and B, $35 for a lip oil, like it's not even like a lipstick or anything, is definitely pricey. Obviously it's Dior, it's luxury, but I found a really nice dupe for this, and that is the Milani Fruit Fetish lip oil. These are like $8, and this one is in the shade Strawberry Melon. Also has like a super similar applicator, like a big applicator. They even like pretty much look the same as far as packaging goes, and honestly this one smells a lot better. I love the smell on this. It's like strawberry and super fruity. For the Dior one, doesn't really have that much of a smell at all. Like it smells like peppermint, which I feel like for like a bright pink is just like kind of weird. Like I love the smell in the Milani, and they look nearly identical on the lips. The Milani one is a little bit brighter, like of a pop, but overall feel the same, wear the same, and give the same kind of nourished feel to the lips. So that is everything, you guys. Let me know what you think down below, but I feel like overall it really looks like we used, you know, pretty much the same makeup on our whole face, even though we used two completely different sets of products. And I will put the price difference on the screen here so you guys can see the difference in price of each side. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll have all the products that we use listed down below, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.